Coming to you live from my apartment. It's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's never going to be Mr. Steal Your Vote. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast. We're live here on a Feedback Friday here. And we are so blessed to have back with us. It's a semi-annual rite of passage to have back here with us, of course, my great friend from Survivor, Millennials versus Gen X. It's Hannah Lil Nesson. Hannah, how are you?
I'm good. Biannual. We figured out this.
Is it biannual or semi-annual?
I think both work. This is my 10th season in a row.
10 in a row.
10. Yeah, I am excited. I am a little nervous to do it live. Just a heads up to the live listeners. Yeah. I can read your comments. I see.
Okay. All right. Well, they're going to be on. Everybody's going to be on their best behavior here tonight, and we've been having so much fun backstage here for the last. Because a lot of people maybe they don't know that we're like talking for a little while before the show comes on.
Yeah, we've become friends over the years.
Yes. I think we're going to say tonight. That's like, oh, I like to think we were friends before today.
No, I think it's solidified right now.
It's solidified, yes.
No, I'm honored to be back for the 10th time. Yeah, I hope the people listening at this point, 10 seasons later, are only the ones who want to hear me on the podcast.
Yes.
I hope we weeded out the people that don't like my style.
Yes, they're gone. They're all gone. And so I'm so excited. It's so fun when you are getting ready for, because you tend to like not be watching from the start, but then you ramp up to get ready for this podcast.
Yeah. The past couple seasons, I've really decided to wait until like a week before, and then I binge it like a feature film.
Yeah.
And then I watch the episode that I'm podcasting a few times. And then I get here. I finally learned everyone's names on the show. So I feel ready.
How many times have you watched the episode that we're going to talk about?
A couple. Yeah, because the first time I watched it, I tried to watch it with the East Coast viewers so that I could tweet. And I didn't have the best, most secure, most legal stream. So it kept restarting every couple sentences. Yep. So then I had to rewatch it legally without repetition, and maybe once more or twice more after that.
Look at you.
I like to do my homework. I want to feel somewhat prepared.
Okay. So I myself have watched the episode 3 times. I'm ready.
You feel it? Oh my gosh, we have someone from Spain. Hello from Spain, Tori.
Yes. Okay.
That's amazing.
And we could bring comments up. There's Tori. Oh. Tori, hello from Spain.
Hola, en España.
Yeah.
Yo quiero visitar.
Okay. And this is the feedback show. So we have lots of questions from our listeners, but you can ask your questions if you're here with us live to talk about everything that's happening here. And I think we got a really exciting episode of the show. A big move happened, and we have a very interesting final 8. But I'd love to know what are your feelings about Survivor 43?
I'm feeling lucky that this was the episode we got to podcast, because I went, oh, this is actually really fun. Less boat rides, more gameplay this episode. Overall, there are definitely, a few people that I'm rooting for. Fiji looks beautiful.
Well, and some that you're not?
Some of the, I don't think I'm actively rooting against anyone. I wish I was. I actually miss villains. Yeah. I was thinking about this while I was watching. I feel like a good villain would have really spiced up parts of this season. But yeah, it was a bumpy entrance into the merge. But I felt like this episode really, really was dynamic.
Okay. All right. We'll get into all of that. Let me just give you a quick voicemail from Corey B. Your friend, my friend, Corey B.
All of our friends.
Yeah.
Hey, Hannah and Rob. This is Corey B. My question for you is, how are you? How are you doing?
Okay, good question.
Before I say how I'm doing, we have Kenya and Cleveland here as well.
Yes.
How am I? I'm excited to be back.
Are you taking attendance from the chat?
Well, everyone's saying where they're from.
I thought Kenya and Cleveland were people.
No, Leslie is coming
you're
from
shouting
Kenya.
out all of the where the chat is from. Nobody's ever done that before. Yeah.
I guess the people that are listening after the fact, maybe they don't need constant updates from the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I always enjoy a good live chat.
I get a lot of emails from people that say, Rob, I was listening to the podcast and I was wondering where were all the people from? That were in the chat from?
That's what's missing from other podcasts that you'll get on this podcast. Will we talk about Survivor? Maybe. Will you know where each person from the chat is?
Yes.
Yes.
Currently, yes.
Miami, Boston, Oklahoma, Canada. We're representing.
Mm-hmm.
That was a deep question from Corey. How am I? Well, I'm good because I tried something that, Rob, you have been begging me to try for years.
Oh.
Every time we podcast.
Let me guess.
Okay.
You tried something that I've been begging for you to try.
Maybe begging is too strong a word. You've been like,
I've suggested. I think you should. Okay, can you give me a hint?
It's a similar setup to what we're doing now, but a different venue.
You went into the metaverse.
That was it. You nailed it. I entered the metaverse, and in the metaverse, I finally tried stand-up like you asked me to try.
I actually know somebody who went to a stand-up comedy show in the metaverse. So that's very fun. So you did a stand-up. Did you go to an open mic or have you?
Yes, I went to an open mic. I was too nervous, and so I texted friends and I said, "Don't come." And then they said, "Please, can we come?" And I said, "No." And then at the last minute, I changed my mind. I said, "Fine, you can come." So I had a couple friends there, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And you were right. I had a good time doing it.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that. So then what kind of material, what things are you talking about? Are you talking about yourself? Are you talking about the world?
Yeah, stand-up is pretty self-involved. People usually talk about themselves out there. I talked about a range of things. My experience being a third wheel for a lot of years. My name. I won't do my routine here. And don't expect this podcast to be any funnier because I tried stand-up one time.
So you told stories.
Yeah, I told jokes. I hope they came across as jokes. There was laughter. It was, you were right though. I had a good time doing it, and I think I will try it again.
Okay. Yeah. You got to keep going out there. That's really, what it comes down to, but I'm really happy to hear that it went so well. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise.
I thought of you because you told me to do it.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd be really good at it. I used to dabble myself, but for whatever reason, and maybe I just gave up too early. I felt like it wasn't for me.
Well, if you're ever in LA again,
yes,
I will take you to an open mic and we'll do it together.
Okay. I would love that. That would be very fun.
How are you? Corey wants to know how you are.
How are you? I thought the question was directed to you, but overall, I am doing very well. I thought that this was a very fun episode of Survivor. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. I can't believe how fast the fall is going, and it's everybody's doing good over here.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yes. Okay. So overall, have you and you were wearing overalls?
Yeah.
Yes. What has been your overall feeling on season 43?
Well, I feel like in this sort of, I don't mean it's easier, but in this sort of kids bop version of Survivor, the like 41, 42, 43, this seems like 41 and 42 felt like the show was discovering and inventing all these new things. And now we're like seeing it play out. Without the newness factor of it all. So while I think, again, the cast is really strong, I like the moments where we can like focus on the storytelling and the relationships. The boat rides and all the very specific mechanics feel iffy.
Yeah.
I think they mentioned the monster again
The
last
monster
night.
came back. The monster came back. Yeah, but it
We heard a
wasn't.
sound effect go ha ha ha.
Yeah, here, I'll play the clip. It was weird. Jeff has not brought up the monster at all in season 43, but it was actually Cassidy who brought it up. And Jeff did not even really acknowledge her. That talk about like not being like a supportive audience. This is Cassidy.
You know, and here we are back in a small tribe dynamic. And the monster tonight is also hungry. It wants 2 heads for the price of 1. It wants everybody front and center.
Yeah. Was that the monster laughing?
Yeah, the sound editor was like, I got this girl who didn't get acknowledgement. Cassidy had one of my favorite vote out lines, though. Like, not this episode. I wrote it down because it was so good. I don't want to misquote her because it was so.
Okay, well, so while you look that up, yeah, I feel like that Jeff couldn't even give her like, I like what you said about the monster. He gave her nothing.
Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? It was the bullet blanks line, and I wanna get it right.
I wonder if people said to Jeff, we don't like when you talk about the monster. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I'm not doing that anymore. And then she brought it up, and Jeff was like, I'm not talking about that anymore. Isn't
the monster this season just misogyny, though? Oh, I found the line.
Yeah. I mean, when is it not?
When is the monster not misogyny? You think you can play me, but I'm the one who put the blanks in your gun. I have the real bullets. Cassidy said that, sleep deprived and hungry, and I was jealous I didn't say it. I know it's not this episode.
But thematically it came back around for this episode when she voted out Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she used that line while voting out Gio, I believe.
Gio, that's right. Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about James getting voted out. Did you have any thoughts on Ryan getting voted out, Hannah?
You know, Ryan reminded me of my good friend Ken my season. Yeah. Just watching it back. I'm sure they're very different people, but just some of the fishing provider energy, sort of the way he approached that in relation to strategy. I will say I was probably rooting for Cassidy's little revenge thing. She's a fun character. Sure. I do think Ryan left very classy and gracious, and I enjoyed his exit because he was so lovely about it all. He was like, make sure they don't starve. I
that's
like
on
that
you,
he brought
Cody.
Yeah, it's all Cody. I think he should have said that's on you, Cassidy. I think he should have given it to someone
Cassidy,
more surprising.
now you have to feed everybody.
Yeah, but I think this was the more fun vote. I think that I found it interesting that, you know, Jesse and Cody were sort of in this position where they really did seem like they wanted to know who got voted out first. Yeah. And James getting voted out affected who got voted out. They were, you know, they didn't, if James, Carla, and Cassidy, or as Gabler said, Hydra. It was a great Greek mythology reference from Gabler. Funny, also.
I think they call him Gabler.
Gabler, sorry.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, though, about that is that Hydra in Greek mythology, cutting off the head didn't work. You had to burn the head off. So I wonder if this is a very
fire-making.
Heavy, I was gonna say like a heady fire-making challenge seed that they're planting, but probably not.
Probably not. Go back to what you were saying about Ryan. That he said that this is what he said. He was taking a souvenir from the island.
But you do get your word in with each person. I know me personally, I have 30 pounds of giant clamshells in my bag. So if I get voted out, I get to take those home with me. So, you know, I've been lugging that around just in case I'm walking out with Night Torch stuff.
So how long has Ryan been walking around with 30 pounds of clamshells?
I mean, they've only been out there like 3 days, everybody. So the whole time.
That's a lot. I asked him in his exit interview. I said,
yes.
so Ryan, how far did you get with the giant clamshells? He said he got back to Ponderosa and they told him he couldn't take them home. Why doesn't a producer stop him ahead of time and say, hey, I know you're lugging around these 30 pounds of giant clamshells. You can't leave with them.
Some people have advantages. He has clams. I respect it. It's an old school play. Old school style play is you don't have idols, you have clams. Someone in the chat, though, asked about a deleted scene that explains so much. And I do not know what I watched the episode so many times. I have no clue about the deleted scene. Could you fill me in? Because I'm curious.
So Abigail said, what do you think about the fact that the deleted scene from last episode's Tribal would have helped explain so much in this episode? Why did they cut it? So we can talk that through. And I have watched it. And Abigail, maybe tell me. I would play it, but I think that we're probably gonna get dinged on the YouTube for showing part of the episode. But so
Will you describe it to me?
Yeah, I'll describe it to you because we get into talking a little bit about in this episode. There was a lot of talk about that in the previous vote, James told Owen who to vote for. And James was told to vote for Ryan. Okay? And that was a big part of this episode.
Talking point. Yes.
It came up a ton. Here's from Tribal Council.
You told me to vote for Ryan. I voted for Ryan.
I asked you to vote for Ryan, and that was the form of trust. And you did that, and you have my trust.
Owen is even saying, you told me to vote for Ryan. I voted for Ryan. Yet Owen didn't vote for Ryan. Owen voted for Cassidy. And even though Steven thought okay, he said I was being crazy, that nobody cared about this. There had to have been a reason. Like, why is Owen lying about who he voted for?
Right.
And so I had thought that Ryan was with James, and it turns out, Ryan was more of a free agent and had been working with the Owen and, maybe Noel and Gablers of the world. And they were sort of talking about who was that second vote for Ryan at the Tribal Council when it was Cassidy.
It was Cassidy. Did Cassidy think there was a chance? Why did Cassidy put it on Ryan?
I am not sure. We never got that from Cassidy.
This is my issue.
This
is my issue.
Well, I can say,
new, minus 42, add the 3. I don't.
Yes. And Owen voted for Janine. He wanted to be on the right side of the vote because Gabler told him to.
Yes.
But I think that for whatever reason, I think that Owen wanted James to think he wasn't in the know as much as possible, and maybe tried to make James feel guilty of telling him the wrong thing, even though he voted for the right person who did go home. And so for James, it was good to say, hey, everybody, it was Owen that voted for James, so he should be the next person to go because he was the other incorrect vote. So I'm not sure just why Owen was going through with this charade. And I thought that maybe he and Noel had been talking this whole time, and that from earlier on, him and Noel and maybe Sammy were talking about this plan to vote out James or use her vote steal at the next Tribal Council. But we just don't know enough for sure. But in the secret scene that they're talking about, who is the second vote for Ryan? And Ryan knows it's not Owen. He suspects it was somebody from Coco, either Cassidy or Carla.
Someone said that Cassidy's vote was more of a expression and moral vote. She kind of explains that in the secret scene. These are things I would love to see in the episode.
I asked Janine in her exit interview, were you close with Cassidy? And I think that the part of the reason why Cassidy was so frustrated, and it was a thing that was talked about, was the women were like, hey, stop voting out all the women.
Yes. Yes, there's been a frustrating pattern this season. And listen, I'm from a season where it would be hypocritical to say
Yeah.
that there's not, guilt on, blood on my season's hands too. But like, there's been a frustrating thing where, any two women look at each other. Oh, where are you from? I'm from so-and-so. Oh, those two women are
What is this, the chat?
incredibly close. No, I'm just,
Mhm.
whereas men get to be closer this season without it immediately being like threatening.
Mhm.
I know that it's constantly, I feel like the edit constantly confirms this. It's like, oh, I think these two women are close. And then the edit is like, we're best friends or whatever. Maybe not just the edit, what they're saying, but that has been a frustrating part of the season for sure.
Mhm. Okay.
And I think it's impressive that Cassidy then was cognizant of it, because it's very easy to get out there and like have it in your head that, it's harder as a woman on a new player season in the end to beat out a men, even though we've seen that recently for the million.
Well,
but to keep that in, oh,
go ahead.
But to keep that in mind when there's all these other shifting things and you're bonding with one person or another is more difficult.
So do you feel like that was part of Carla's decision where she could have saved James this week and ultimately felt like it was better off for her to not have done any of the things that could have saved James?
Do I think it was a gender thing? Weren't both of the votes for
No,
men?
you just said that if a man and a woman sit at the end of the game together, Carla's one of her closest ally was James, that she had a decision. She could have kept James in the game a number of different ways. Do you feel like that was part of her decision?
I mean, if I was Carla in that situation, I think that a bigger decision would be the fact that he has this steal a vote and she is an idol more than anything else.
Mhm.
I get, if you have an idol, you probably don't want someone, even if they don't know where it is, that can steal your idol. Other than that, I actually think James, yes, women at the end of new player seasons struggle more against their male allies. But I do think that James seemed like a relatively good shield for Carla, someone who people knew they were making moves together, but he had more, he seemed more shield-like, more vocal. But I don't know that was I don't think that was a gender decision so much as like the group wanted to make a big move. She probably wanted to be with the group. It all seemed to happen very quickly. And he had this thing where he could steal her idol.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me bring in a question for you from a great friend of the podcast. John Tinkham has a question for you, Hannah.
Let's do it, John.
Hey, Rob and Hannah, this is John. Since Hannah has a background in comedy, I was just curious what she thought of Jeff's accent that he was trying to do before the immunity challenge. Does she hope we see more improv Jeff on future seasons? Or does she remember any times during Millennials versus Gen X that Jeff tried to do a little improv? Thanks.
Okay. Now, Hannah, did you catch in your multiple viewings of the episode when I did. Jeff did something a little bit interesting.
Australian-esque?
Yes. Okay. Let's listen in. Here's Jeff welcoming the Survivor contestants to the challenge.
Feast your eyes on what await
Oh, hold on. Let me check it.
you.
Let me do it clean.
Feast your eyes on what awaits you on day 17 of Survivor 43.
How about, is that Owen with like kind of like a very nice like, okay, I am a giving audience. Ha 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 ha.
It feels like an improv audience. Like, this is probably for you, but I'm gonna support.
Feast your eyes on what awaits you on day 17 of Survivor 43.
Yeah, feast your eyes on what awaits you. A challenge. Like, it's, I mean, I guess I was expecting it to actually be a feast, but no, you're actually just feasting your eyes on a challenge. Now, is that the same voice as this?
To Survivor, because a drink before war is always a good idea.
Is this a character that Jeff does?
Does he have an alter ego? Jeff sounds like
besides
me.
Survivor guy.
Jeff is like me. All my accents sound vague and terrible. But I do think Jeff should do more improv. Yes. I think Jeff should constantly be doing accents.
Yeah.
I support that.
He has a couple of different characters that he does. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess there is sort of like, what would you call this character? Let's workshop this a little bit. Like, let's flesh this out. What character is this?
Are you playing it again?
Feast your eyes on what awaits you on day 17 of Survivor 43.
So he's sort of what, like a British gentleman?
Is it? I don't know why I keep hearing Australia. Australian. Really tapping into his inner Phil. Yes, it's like he's an international Survivor host that has just landed on American Survivor and is just like excited to be there. I don't know what is. I don't. Maybe he's trying to be all the Survivor hosts in one.
Abigail says, "I'm getting Australian pirate."
Thank you, Abigail. It sounds sort of Australian. It's giving Crown House of Dragon, Tyler says.
Yes. But the thing about Feast Your Eyes, he's a little bit of a tour guide. More so than a pirate.
It's Mark Burnett impression, someone says. He said it in interviews after Winners Award. Thank you.
Wait, well, why is Mark Burnett? Wait, so this is like when people like who are on SNL like do like Lorne, that's like Jeff does his boss.
I love when Lorne's in sketches.
Right.
Do you think Mark Burnett is watching this challenge? That's why he's doing it. Because a few times behind the scenes, Mark Burnett would come and watch it.
He's making everybody laugh. He's doing Mark Burnett voice, like the crew is gonna love this. Watch this. I'm gonna do like I'm Mark Burnett. Feast your eyes on this challenge, everyone.
What brand is Hannah's overalls? Overalls are underrated. Oh my gosh.
This is a question from the chat.
This is from the chat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
If you're listening not live, this is for you too. I don't want you to just.
No, that's fine. Bring the chat in. My only request for you is that just say that
which one?
Kyle from the chat is asking. Otherwise, it's giving a little Ron Burgundy if you just read what they say.
Got it. I'm new. This is my 10th time podcasting, but I'm new to this chat element. So I will try to signal who I'm talking about. I would make a very frazzled weather woman.
Frazzled weather woman. Okay, let me see that. Let me see that character.
You're seeing it this whole podcast where I'm like, Kyle's saying this. Oh gosh. Okay, now this person's saying that. Podcasting Live 101. Oh, Abigail is
in the chat. Yeah.
In the chat is saying you can click on it. Podcasting Live 101 with Rob Cesternino. I'm learning as we go, y'all.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we've ever done it live. Maybe for the patrons we did it live.
I think we did for the patrons a few times, and then afterwards I would be like, can you cut out this whole section? And you'd be like, no.
Like it's not easy. But you know, today you're not going to say anything that we have to cut out, right?
So I'm doing my best. I don't think I
feast your ears on a live podcast.
Here we get. See, I can't do accents. That's a big reveal. I'm really bad at accents.
Have you ever met Mark Burnett?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I want to say yes. Have you? You have?
Yes. Yeah. He used to be around. He used to be around. It's like, you know, we're you know, like part of the same family, and it's like you know, we're. Dad used to be around when I was a kid, but then like he has like sired many children and is like kind of like absentee in his older age.
Okay, I might be wrong. So if this was someone else, just blame it on the hunger. But I think Mark Burnett came out and like did one interview for a confessional for me once. But maybe that's wrong. That sounds wrong.
That sounds wrong. I mean,
okay, guys, let's start the rumor that Mark Burnett.
He came to
Did
Fiji.
Someone just impersonate him?
Maybe it was Jeff.
What if it was just a lower level segment producer was like, Hannah, I'm Mark Burnett, and I was so hungry that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was Mark Burnett, and he was like, he said, if you get voted out, really be an independent thinker. Don't think with the group. And I thought, oh, am I getting voted out? But maybe this wasn't Mark Burnett. I don't know who this was.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know who it was. Maybe it was just a local Fijian.
I'd be surprised if Mark Burnett has ever been to Fiji for Survivor.
Guys, who was this in person? It wasn't Jeff.
It was an imposter.
Oh, put It's the Ref on the screen. He's complimenting me.
Yes.
All compliments go on the big screen. You're doing great, Hannah. We love an interactive podcast.
Yes.
One person thinks I'm doing great.
No, come on. Now you're fishing. Now you're like Ryan out there fishing.
I'm about to get voted off this podcast.
Yeah, you're about to pull up a giant clam full of compliments now.
I didn't make as many notes as I usually make.
Okay.
For this podcast. I wrote
That's fine.
one of my 3 notes for this podcast I wrote was harder and harder to get boat things. I thought that was a write down type of thought.
Harder and harder to get boat things. What did you mean by that?
I mean that something I like about the season is that they make it hard to get to the risk or not risk thing. I like that they had to climb through water, and I hope they escalate it every season to the point where they have to like belay down rocks and like fight things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like that it's hard to get there, and I thought that was a write downable thought.
Yes. No, it's harder and harder to get boats or votes.
No, the boat things. I meant the excursions. I don't know what you call them.
Okay, so go to Shipwheel Island. Those are the boat things.
Yeah, the boat where they take them somewhere, but they don't take them to the thing. They have to walk through the water. It's something I like about the season that it's like it's an obstacle course to get there. We can move on to a voicemail.
Okay, will do. Let's go ahead and then take one of our next voicemails. And so, how about a question here from let's go from our great friend, Alex Forstenhausler.
Let's do it.
Longtime podcast listener.
Longtime caller.
Yes.
Long man. He's very tall.
Yes. Very, very tall. And I know you have some notes about Survivor Heights. Let's hear from Alex.
Let's do it.
Alex Forstenhauser here, longtime listener, third-time caller. My question is for Hannah Shapiro. Hannah, as we have been reminded many times throughout the season, Sammy is a teenager. Now, as we all know, you famously played with a teenager, Will Wall, on season 33, Millennials vs. Gen X. How would you compare Sammy's game to Will's? And could we be seeing a resurgence of the pendulum strategy?
Okay, such a good question from
Excellent
Alex.
question.
Okay, you played with Will, who was also 19.
Yes,
Said
18,
he was
I think.
Did he say he was his real age? Yes.
Yes. Well, on day, yes, he told Jeff before the game started that he wasn't going to lie. So Jeff said there's a high schooler here, and he came forward on day 1.
Even though, would you say that Will Wall was actually Gen Z?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
He's a lawyer now. He's an adult now. He's a grown-up.
How old is he now? So he was 18 when you played.
6 years since the season. So
and he's 24.
He's 24. He might be Gen Z.
He might be Gen Z. He might be world's oldest Gen Z.
Well, there's a big difference between Will Wall and Sammy.
I
Sammy
think he was the first Gen Z.
Was he? Maybe. Gen Z.
Or the world's youngest millennial.
I don't know the whole world, Rob. I can point to Tyler Andre from the chat saying he's definitely Gen Z.
Okay, there you have it.
He's def Gen Z. Well, something about Sammy is that he's sort of the CW brand teenager where he looks like, it's like that other teen a couple seasons ago where
Michael Yerger. So you're saying that he's 19 on the show, but actually an actor who's 30 is playing.
He's actually played by a 35-year-old. I mean, listen, I think he does act like a 19-year-old, but he sounds and looks like a CW 19-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's much easier to blend. Whereas Will Wall, and again, he's a full-blown lawyer now, but he was like a swoopy-haired high schooler from Jersey, and I love Will, but I think that's a very just right away very different.
Yeah.
But I do think that Sammy does hold some of Will Wall's energy of let's make a move, because you're a teenager,
Yeah.
Teens
So
want to swing from thing to
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Like a Tarzan, not a
yes.
swinger
Yes.
thing.
Yes. So
I told
interestingly,
you
though,
I can't do live podcasts.
okay, we're good. We're still good. Okay. That I feel like that Sammy has like this energy though that's a little like frenetic, and I feel like that Will, I don't want to say like was low energy, but I kind of feel like he had like the deep voice. I feel like that he was like I understand like he had the famous pendulum strategy, but I don't imagine him as like I feel like that Sammy has just like is shot out of a cannon.
Well, Will, the elements definitely took a hold of his young self when he was on. I mean, I remember when Will Wall's mother came to camp, he won the family thing, and I had to like hold Will Wall's mother in my arms and be like, he's okay, please don't pull him from the game. Because Will Wall was sort of like a shell of a human by the merge. We were out there longer than this Kids Bop Survivor, so like it's a different thing.
But his mom was ready to take him home.
I don't want to misquote anyone's mother, but I'm pretty sure Will Wall's mother was quite nervous. We are Gene Kelly pop up says false. Gen Z are born in the OOs, the aughts. Will is a young millennial. There's a lot of debate in the chat.
Okay.
But I think when you're a teen, you really want to prove yourself. And I think both of those, I want to prove that I'm more than 19. That energy is there. Do you agree?
Yeah, I certainly get that. And I feel like that both of these guys really want to, prove their own game. You heard that certainly in Millennials versus Gen X, where remember how upset Will was when, Ken wanted to give him a test?
I remember it viscerally. I remember looking at David Wright at camp. I don't remember the TV airing version, but I remember looking at David Wright. I was like, what the F is this man doing to our team that we need?
Kids hate tests.
I don't know what that. Oh, I see. Now I'm responding directly to the chat. I've gone full. What?
Yes.
If I'm trying here. I will. You want to, if you ever are on Survivor and you're playing with a teenager, you've got to treat them. You got to they want to feel adult.
They not even adults. I feel like it's important. They want to feel like equals,
Yes.
And I think it's hard where you have people who are, like you have these younger people who are on the show, and then it's like, hey, listen, kid, like I have all this life experience, and then, but they're like, hey, like we're the same.
I did the show at 24. I'm 30 now. I think I'm like, you learn things from 24 to 30. There are really amazing young winners who have played much better than I would play at 50. But I think that, 19 is very young.
Yeah.
And yes, but
it's important that I think you do want to, make them feel like they are part of the decision makers. And if you don't, I think they can feel slighted and then maybe want to go in a different direction.
Yes. I think, Lissy Hope is saying that On the opposite spectrum, the older players probably feel similar. Yeah, I think everyone wants to feel like, we've heard Gabler talk about being older and what winning the challenge meant as, someone who's older. But
I feel like the older player doesn't necessarily say, oh, the younger people, these people didn't give me a chance to be part of the group, I'm flipping on them. Where I kind of feel like that maybe that's more of the move of the younger players.
Yeah, I mean, I also think I learned my season. Obviously, I didn't spend time with the jury, but there were a lot of jury members hesitant to give an 18-year-old $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an interesting thing to discuss. I don't want to offend any 18-year-olds listening who feel ready to have $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not just trying to navigate and prove you have agency as a teenager. You're trying to prove that you can then be responsible for getting a large sum of money young. You don't want the Justin Bieber effect, right? You get famous and all this money young, and then what did he buy, a snake? Like, you don't want that to happen. I feel like he bought like a pet and then left it at an airport. I'm not sure 100%, but you don't want the winner of Survivor to turn into Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm. Probably some of the Survivor winners have done worse than some of the things that Justin Bieber has done, but we don't need to explore that right now. But Hannah, I could tell you that from my own personal experience that I can relate to that, and I wasn't 19 when I played Survivor, but I had just turned 24. And I felt like that in the first half of the game in Survivor the Amazon, like I wasn't taken seriously by the men. And when I had the chance to flip on them and go in a different direction, I was so excited. I was like, oh, these guys, that they're not letting me, now I'm part of the decision makers. Now I'm in the group that's calling the shots when, I couldn't even put my canteen in the refrigerator when we were on the tribe with all the men.
No, I definitely can relate to not just being young on a season that talked a lot about age, but also all the things that play into not being taken seriously. But there will be no Will Wall slander in the chat. He is a very smart kid and he can lawyer up. He's a lawyer now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get ready to get sued, chat.
Get ready to get sued. He's coming for you.
Maybe we should have there be a waiver in the chat now, but just so you know that if you are talking badly about survivors in the chat, if they're watching, they can sue you. So just be aware. Okay? Has nothing to do with us. It's a public forum, and if they want that, they're within their rights.
It was also mentioned, I don't have the exact comment, you can look, that 16-year-olds apparently can apply. I encourage all youths to make sure they have a good sense of self before they go out and play a Survivor.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Hannah, so how about this question? This is from D-Mats, who wants to know, Hannah, after seeing this new era of Survivor play the last couple of years, would you want to play in this style? You've called it Kids Bop Survivor, somewhat disparagingly.
How dare you?
Or do you love Kids Bop?
Kids Bop is fun for all.
Mm-hmm.
Kids Bop takes popular songs and has choruses of kids singing them. That's not
and they also change
it.
They change the bad words a lot of times.
I know, we don't want bad words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you really start to lose your mind after like day 30. So it would be great to have a Survivor season in which you didn't have to hit that point. I do think that the intricacies of building relationships and maneuvering through alliances is something I really enjoyed playing Survivor, like figuring out that sort of human chess element. But now instead of human chess, there's actual chess pieces. There's advantages galore. Like now people are playing like advantage chess. So yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about it. Do you ever think about this? Would you be good in this new era?
I don't think about it because I don't think I would ever be asked to play Survivor again in the new era. But I feel like I'm sure. Let's do it. Like, I kind of feel like with the 39-day game, like it's so much of like, oh, don't make the wrong move. Like, okay, I gotta really be. I feel like there's like no pressure, no tension. It's like, who knows what's going on? Just
Not
do
the
whatever.
contestants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, I'm sure if you want to play, drop the 50, add the 1, you would be invited to season 51.
Oh, well, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it's like being on Twitter right now. The whole thing could be gone tomorrow. Or you just do whatever you want.
Twitter's the one thing the social media platform I was really loved.
Mm-hmm.
I like my Twitter.
Yeah.
Deborah Beckley said,
don't know
I'm
what's
14
gonna
years
happen.
old. I'm going to apply to Survivor when I'm 16. She says, why do I keep pointing as if that's going to help? I really am a crazed weather woman. Deborah, I wish you all the luck in the world. I personally think if we don't trust someone to vote in an election, we shouldn't put that on their mental health on an island voting. But I hope I see you there when you're 18.
Yes. Okay. I was a little confused where you were going. This was back to.
It was winding, but yeah. I don't want a bunch of kids attacking me on the internet. So you can all play.
You don't want that. Yeah.
I don't.
Mm-hmm. Certainly not. Certainly not.
I won't.
The new era. It's so it's like very unpredictable, and it's only a couple of weeks, and so I kind of feel like, why not? What do you have to lose?
Your dignity.
No, I actually feel like they treat you on Survivor now in a way with a lot more dignity than they ever did before.
Yeah, I feel like people have more well-rounded edits, and a lot of the reasonings for why people get sent home seem much more based in advantages than social mishap.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like I feel like that the show, I think, has like tries to humanize the contestants to a degree that like to which they've never done before. But I think at the same time that I think that the entertainment level of the show, like, I think has dipped a little bit, where that, sometimes that when they would try to just make people into caricatures, it wasn't nice for the people, but it often made for entertaining television.
Yeah, maybe. It's possible.
It's like, okay, we took human beings and we treated them like two-dimensional characters because that's what you do on a TV show. And it didn't feel so good for the people that got turned into two-dimensional characters, but it made for maybe more interesting television. Now we're really trying to like flesh out and color in everybody into being three-dimensional human beings. But, it's harder to like really, get great TV out of that always.
But don't you think you could do this new three-dimensional character thing, but have some villains? Like, I really feel like what you're talking about, I get what you're talking about, but I think villains would help. I'm not saying I want people doing truly terrible stuff. Like all of that, like the really terrible stuff. No, but there's a type of villain, a sort of how they come across is not how they're perceived, or they, say more pointed things. I feel like a villain would help with that without, throwing these real humans to the wolves.
Okay, so give me an example. Who would be a good villain?
Who would be a good villain? I mean, this is not an endorsement of any of these people in real life.
Sure.
But like some of the stuff that like Tori said was really crazy to watch. Like when she was like, oh, I felt sad because Zach's going home and I'm jealous he gets to be in a bed, or when she was like, way to mess up the puzzle. Like, this is the sort of like person as a TV character to root against that's like dynamic. Or even like, again, I'm not commenting on their persona or what they say offline. Yes, Courtney Yates. Thank you. Minnie, go to Minnie. Why am I keep pointing as if that's going to help? Courtney Yates, who like has incredible dryness and like mimics her castaways and is really funny. Courtney Yates is like one of my favorite people. Yeah. When I went on the show, or even like a Russell Hantz type burned thing. Like, I feel like we need some villains. I think that in terms of like the entertainment factor that you're talking about, I don't think we need to humiliate people in the ways that you're referring to for entertainment. I just think, yes, thank you. Like Abby Maria's, these people that, yes, villains.
I am not advocating to humiliate anybody, just for the record.
No, I know.
But I'm saying that, like, but you know, they would like turn people into characters and give them like, you know, an edit that would be a little bit more, you know, two-dimensional as opposed to like, you know, a fully fleshed out person. I agree with what you're saying also in terms of the people that maybe have a little bit more of an edge to them. You know, I feel like that Survivor really does try to, you know, cast every season is, you know, there's no more themes, but it's also heroes versus heroes versus heroes.
Yeah, and again, I don't want, you know, we've had misogynistic villains, we've had people do bad things. I don't want that. You can be more villainous or less self-aware, not even villains, but more comically unaware. And that can add a dimension that I think it's great that we have all these rootable characters, but every montage just is like, here's their heroes montage, which I like that we have heroes, but I think we need some villains.
Yeah. Less self-aware, I think, is a really good note. I think that's very important, because I think that a lot of these people where they don't know how they're coming across and they think they're coming across one way, and we at home, I think they're coming across another way. Then like, and Cody had some moments like that. I feel this
I love
season.
her. But Cody is still, he's his own.
But yeah, he's still a hero in this show.
Yeah. I mean, even I love her. We've hung out. Even Angelina was sort of like in the TV character had Michael Scott level humor of things she was doing. Like, I miss some of that, I think, in terms of like watching it.
Yeah. No, very good points in terms of the casting and what's going on. All right. Okay. So, all right. You mentioned Angelina. Okay.
I love Angelina.
Okay. Did you happen to see Angelina on television recently?
She was on White Lotus, right?
Yes.
Congratulations to Mike White, the final Tribal Council loser Emmy winner.
Yes. And also I saw that the White Lotus got picked up. Yes. The White Lotus got picked up for season 3. So on to another season of the White Lotus. Maybe you will be in the premiere of season 3.
Oh my gosh, what a dream. Not if I keep calling him fellow Tribal Council loser, Emmy winner.
I think have that in common.
Congratulations. I think it's so impressive. I'm sure Mike White is not listening to this, but if you are,
probably not. I think it's probably unlikely.
Probably unlikely.
But yes.
What a fun thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's a question from Millie, who is going to bring up the White Lotus.
Let's do it.
Hi, Rob and Hannah. Millie from Australia here. Not since You Better Be Ready have we heard vocals in the Survivor mix. Not until this episode. Did you hear it at the very start? And am I the only one that thinks that this sounds like this? It's the White Lotus theme, right? Is Jeff taking some cues from Mike White again?
Okay. Is it fun? Hannah, do you think is Survivor resampling the White Lotus theme song?
Yes, and I also think Jeff Probst is doing a Millie impression.
Oh.
I don't think it's Mark Burnett. I think it's Millie.
Feast your ears on this sample.
Damn,
this
Millie is paying
cue.
attention.
Yes. So yeah, in the sound design, yeah. I just wonder.
I love the sound design. No complaints there.
Well, we have like people like what would you say, chanting, like people are laughing in the tribal council. Are there like the island spirits like that have like a laugh track of Survivor?
I miss the You Better Get Ready. I until Millie mentioned it, I forgot how much I loved it. When I took over the CBS Instagram for 40, I had everyone singing it. It was great. I think it's great. I think they should do more. I think there should be more laughter, more sounds of the monster.
Yes. Should Survivor have a laugh track?
Yeah, I think we should try an episode that's just straight up Friends sitcom.
Yeah.
I think it should be a multicam for one episode. Instead of cameras following the contestants, it should just be like one tribe camp set up with a laugh track.
I mean, wouldn't that be interesting to see an episode of Survivor that was done that way, where
like a sitcom?
Like a sitcom. Why not? Because you have everybody that's going through like talking about their story and everything. And imagine like somebody is like, I was hit by a moped when I was 14 years old, and I've never crossed the street since that time. Aww. Yeah. And then the whole audience can react to stuff.
Danilo says that we want a musical episode as well.
Yeah. Here, hold on. Let's see. Like, what would Tribal Council be like with a live track studio audience?
It's just like an extra kick in the backside. Like, not have rice, have underripe papaya. Cody's peed all over that camp.
I thought I had to do the laugh track. I just added my laugh.
It didn't happen as quick as I wanted it to. Yeah.
It was like peed. It was a pause. I thought I had to fill in the space. That's my problem in life too. I'm just like, oh, there's a pause. I got to fill it in.
Well, what's going on with Cody peeing all over the camp? Is Owen just making a joke, or did Cody actually pee everywhere?
I bet Cody actually peed everywhere.
It's just like an extra kick in the backside. Like, not have rice, have underripe papaya. Cody's peed all over that camp.
I believe that Cody's peed all over the camp. That would be where I'd put the money. Would you?
Why is Cody peeing everywhere?
I think he jumps off a rock and then pees on camp.
I'm living. I gotta pee everywhere.
Wow, Cody is here with us right now. Donna Q wants to know if they have porta potties. Not for the cast, no.
No. But ideally, like, you're supposed to pee in like one spot, right?
Yeah, and it's not supposed to be near the camp.
Yeah, and Cody, he's peeing everywhere.
Yeah, my puppy does that when she wants to mark things.
Yeah, so be careful. I mean, how did Owen even know that? This wasn't even his camp.
Rumors spread.
Did Noel say like, oh yeah, that spot you're standing, Cody peed right there?
Probably. Maybe you still smell it. I don't know.
Wow. I mean, all this time later.
This is the sort of deep strategy we talk about on the voicemails.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought we were going to dissect possible winners, but we're just talking about piss.
Okay, fine. You want to dissect the winners?
We can do it naturally when there's the proper voicemail. I'm sure will come up.
Okay. All right. Fine. Here's a voicemail from Liz.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Rob. This is my favorite RHAP podcast of the season for obvious reasons. My question is always about the winner. I think that Carla should be the winner, but I think she won't win because this will not be a jury of her peers, as most of the women were voted off too early to make the jury. And I think that Jesse and Cody have been given winners edits, but I am going to go for the long shot Sammy, partly because Hannah's brother's name is Sammy. And this Sammy is very smart. And I'm just wondering who you think will win and why you think they will win. Bye.
Wait, hold on, Hannah. Did
This is my mom.
Yes. Did your mom say that this Sammy is very smart? Let me see.
You got to play it again.
Yeah.
Long shot Sammy, partly because Hannah's brother's name is Sammy. And this Sammy is very smart.
What about the other Sammy? Is the other Sammy not smart?
My brother is the smartest person. I'm sure she didn't mean it as it is. I always love when my mom reveals her winner thoughts because it's not something we've talked about.
Yes.
Off mic. That was a lot to take in. There's a lot to take in.
Wait, and your mom really getting into the edit?
My mom's big into educ, I guess. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have look, I want to preface this by saying a couple podcasts ago, I went on and on about how Shan was going to win, and then she got voted off the next episode. So,
well, that's the thing about the new era, that they keep you guessing. You think you know, but you don't know.
Yeah, take this with a grain of papaya, but
unripe papaya?
A grain of unripe papaya. Wow, people are supporting my mother's guesses. I feel like the three people I'm looking at as my three like winner pool would be Jesse, Carla, and then a dark horse in Cassidy. I feel like
that's interesting.
Yeah. I feel like for me, Jesse, my big thing with Jesse was that he seems to get credit. He seems to get credit for other people's moves, like his allies' move. Cody made a move and against, he wanted to go with Dwight, and then we had a confessional of Jesse being like, it's important to let your allies have agency. And I feel like setting someone up as like, even when the move's not his, he's allowing it to happen for strategic reasons.
Like, yeah, we could have seen like Cody in confessional, like, yeah, that Jesse wanted to vote out Noel, but I put my foot down and I said, hey, it's got to be Dwight.
Yes, we could have seen that.
Yeah.
But I feel like yes, exactly. We could have seen Cody be like, I took control, but instead we were being shown.
Just like when I pee all over the camp, I made my mark on this vote.
Everyone thinks your impression is perfect, and I do.
Yes,
too.
yes,
it's really good.
Yes,
ding yourself for
and
it.
Even and even when we don't, because we are the supportive comedians with each other. We don't that all like it's not like if you're on a podcast with somebody and the other person does an impression and then you like come out and say like that impression is bad, like that kills the vibe of the podcast.
Yeah, you have to.
So even if it is bad, then I really appreciate you yes-anding the impression.
I agree with the chat. I think it's a good impression, but I just to circle back.
It's a work in progress.
So I don't lose the stream of this too much. I think that Jesse.
I never lose the stream when I'm back at camp.
I'm peeing on the. Oh. I wish I could do his voice, but if I try, it's going to be embarrassing. And nope. See, I don't do accents.
I thought it was very good.
Thank you. I know that you just
said
said it. You set it up that you knew you were going to support me no matter what. I feel like we're being shown Jesse in the driver's seat without getting as much heat as some of his allies.
Yeah.
I think that Carla is definitely a force out there. She had a great episode this episode. I wonder though, without her shields, I think if she gets to the end, I definitely think she's. Yeah. My mom says it's not a jury of her peers. I agree, but I think Carla's a force to be reckoned with. I'm a big fan. it feels from watching it, the story being told is that Jesse seems to be slipping under a little more. He's got Cody as more of a shield that Carla doesn't have. And then I'm not counting out Noelle, chap. I'm just going through my things. I think the reason I think Cassidy would be my dark horse is that she's said multiple times that her game, she's used the word subtle, both in confessionals and to her peers. And I think that that's smart. She said women sometimes have to play a more subtle game. And if you're going to do that, the way not to get overlooked is by hammering it in everyone's mind that you are playing a more subtle game so that they look for the subtleness of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the reason I have her as a dark horse is that I feel like she, I know I can like see her trajectory. Like I know her narrative. And if she is playing a more Fox-like subtle game, then it wouldn't be as big as some of the other people's, but it is there. The story is there. I'm not counting out anyone else. I just think someone in the chat said, don't count out Noelle. I think Noelle and Owen are going to have a tougher time because when you're on the bottom as they are, either you're easier to take out because you're on the bottom, or you get pulled along because you're not in the driver's seat. So I'm not counting her out. I'm not counting anybody out. I'm surprised that my mom has so much faith in Sammy, though. Are you?
Sammy, I think it's been very, very interesting. I do not think Sammy is the winner of the season, but I've been really impressed with the game that he is playing, that he's just playing a very like big, aggressive game, which has been very fun to watch. I'd love to just go back to the Jesse and Carla of it all, because I feel very like, I would say that I don't know who it will be, but I'd say I'm about like 98, 99% that the winner will be one of those two.
If you had to put money on one of them, which would it be?
I would say
I lean Jesse.
I lean more. I'm probably like 60-40 Jesse, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of those two. And I felt like that the whole like one of them is going to be the you should have won person, and then the other person is going to be, I think, the winner of the season. Now, again, the thing about the new era is that they have kept us on our toes with nobody saw the Erica thing coming. The Marianne thing was a really big surprise up until the last week of the season when we got to the final 6. So it would be the first time in the new era that we would have like such a big winner edit for one of the contestants. So take it with a gigantic grain of salt. Okay. So that's what I am seeing there. The interesting thing that I thought, I went back and I listened to my exit interview with James. I've been trying to do that the last couple of weeks because when I'm doing the exit interview, sometimes I'm not fully present with the person that I am interviewing because I'm trying to make sure that I have like my questions ready, and I want to make sure like I only have 15 minutes. So I'm really just trying to make sure, okay, let me make sure I get to this one, get to this. And so sometimes like the person's answering the question that I have on my list. So I'm trying to, keep track of a lot of stuff. So I went back, and especially with James, who I thought was really great on the exit interview, but he talks so fast that I had to like listen to it again because I think I missed a lot. And then so that he talked about how he's surprised that they didn't show as much of his and Cody's relationship. He's like, more so even than Jesse and Carla. He's like, me and Cody were very, very tight. We were like giving high fives when they had to make pairs. And it's interesting that, we like did not see any of that in the edit, that Cody is really just shown to be the buddy of Jesse. Ryan in his exit interview said he didn't even know that Jesse and Cody were close, which seems I don't know how that's even possible, but I just thought it was interesting that Cody is just shown as like the accessory of Jesse.
There's a lot of in the storytelling people this season who are the heroes and then like more support in the storytelling. I know that clearly that's not how it is out there. It is interesting the last couple seasons, it feels like sometimes people are built up so that the person who wins can get credit for taking out a big person.
Yeah.
But, you know, we heard in the preview, we got to break up Jesse and Cody. So we know that there's some attention given to that. That's interesting, though. I think it's important to remember when you're watching it, especially if you haven't been out there, that like, just like Rob is saying, watching it, it does feel like Cody is a great character and really fun to watch. It does, you know, we see him a lot with Jesse. We're like, oh, he's Jesse's sort of like person in the storytelling. But out there, nobody is, for the most part, you don't see it in the storytelling way. So it's not like you're like, oh, this person is, no, they're just a person in front of you. I think like, it's much more complex and well-rounded. But did my mom even mention Jesse?
Yes, I think she said it was Jesse or Carla.
Jesse and Carla. Yeah, I agree.
You want to hear what she said again?
Sure.
Your mom is like James. Like we want to hear her.
I want to hear it again and again.
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Rob. This is my favorite RHAP podcast of the season for obvious reasons. My question is always about the winner. I think that Carla.
Is your mom's question always about the winner?
I think she always asks us who we think is gonna win.
I didn't even clock that. Okay.
Should be the winner, but I think she won't win because
Carla.
This will not be a jury of her peers, as most of the women were voted off too early to make the jury. And I think that Jesse and Cody have been given winners' edits.
But she thinks Cody has a winner's edit.
Yeah. Well, she thinks Jesse Cody, the combo.
The combo.
I am going to go for the long shot Sammy, partly because Hannah's brother's name is Sammy. And this Sammy is very smart.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering who you think will win.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, first of all, she says it's her favorite RHAP. My mom does listen to a lot of RHAP while she runs.
I appreciate it, Liz.
Tommy Guam in the chat asked if my mom is from New York. Yes, she did grow up in New York City. Tommy, yeah. Do you know my mom? She grew up in New York.
Wow. Small world.
Yeah, I guess I haven't clocked Sammy as much in that role as my mom does. Maybe, do I just like Cassidy? Is that why I think she might win? But I feel like my dark horse
I feel like that Cassidy has had, I thought this was her breakout episode, but I think that she has had kind of a smaller edit than some of these other people that have had like bigger episodes in the spotlight. That being said, she probably had like more than Erica did in season 41. So
yeah, I don't know. I the sort of dark horse, like I'll get you and it'll be too late sort of thing. She feel like if she was gonna win, that narrative would make sense with her edit so far.
Yeah. She popped up on the Gio vote and the Ryan vote for sure. Like she had a rivalry with those two guys. I would love to talk about where we go from here because I do think that we can get into Hannah breaking down the trust clusters.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Let's do it. Let's trust cluster it up. This is going to haunt me. My grave eventually is just going to be like, she trust clustered too close to the sun.
Trust clustered too close to the sun, because I think it's actually very fascinating what happens when we get back to camp after this vote. Because you have Carla, and Carla definitely has an ally in Cassidy. Is that fair to say?
Yes, they are close.
Okay. And Carla also has an ally that we found out really cares about her. What we don't know.
My brother Sam.
Yeah, Sammy, this smart Sammy.
Smart Sammy.
So Sammy says, I care more about you, or what I care more about what Carla has to say. I think he might have even said that in confessional than what other people think about things. So Sammy definitely wants to be with Carla. So then you also have Jesse and Cody and Jody, right? And so really for me, the question is, does Carla want to link back up with Jesse and Cody to finish off Owen and Noelle, maybe Gabler, or after what happened at the last tribal council, where we saw.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Or where we saw at the last tribal council, where Carla, by way of Sammy, worked with Owen and Noelle.
Yeah.
Do they all want to go back and flip it around on Jody?
I think that we're going to see a lot more fluidity moving forward, because this is the point. They're at the final 8. This is the point where anyone who's considered a threat is going to become a shiny target, sort of, I think, regardless of alliance, trust cluster, voting block, whatever. I took Sammy's thing as both that he wants to work with Carla and maybe he sees long-term goals with Carla. I think I can relate to the fact that, like, when you see a long-term goal with someone, you want to include them. I think that's what Sammy was trying to do, which is sort of in juxtaposition to the whole conflict of the episode, which is James not including Owen. He did not see a long-term relationship there. But I think that it's less, is she gonna, which group is she gonna, cluster with till the end, and more just what sort of shiny targets are gonna emerge. People are really afraid of pairs this season. We saw this a bunch of times. Now that Hydra has been broken a little bit, at least 3, James is gone. Cody and Jesse, at least from the preview, seem to be next on the sort of, we got to break them apart. I think some of these challenge threats are going to become, you have Sammy and Owen, these sort of more muscly men. I think something that, Jesse does well is, at least at this point, isn't, he was, I think, out first this challenge. I think he doesn't, Cody as a challenge threat. He's not, whether intentionally or maybe that's just how his body works. But like, I think some of these muscly men are going to become shiny targets, and it's less about what groups are going to work together and more about the targets.
As we're thinking it through, I think that maybe the move that makes the most sense, if Carla does have Cassidy and does have Sammy, that I think that the move might be to see if you could link back up with Jesse and Cody. Okay. And then from there, take out Owen and Noelle and Gabler. And then really, when you get down to 5, Carla, who has an idol, if she doesn't need to use her idol, she can get through that tribal council. She can vote with, I guess Jesse and Cody probably have to play their idol there. The thing is, she doesn't know that Jesse has an idol. Maybe she's thinking, we could vote out Jesse at 5, because she's really the swing vote if nobody has idols at that point, because she could go with Cody and Jesse, or she could go with Sammy and Cassidy potentially. But the tricky thing is that Jesse and Cody both have idols, and so they're probably all going to get through. Either Cassidy or Sammy would go out, and then she might get brought to the final 3.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of logic in the path moving forward that you set up. I guess I would say that I still
My fatal
think
flaw.
Listen, every smart person's fatal flaw out there is that they think people are going to vote in their best interest, and that's just not what happens.
Yeah.
Because people have to know how they're being perceived ranked up against other people. And I think shiny object syndrome is going to get the best of the group. We have Sammy, like my mom said, he's smart, very smart. He also wants to prove himself. He wants to take out some of these big shiny objects. He wants to take out, I think in the Cody Jesse pairing, the reason I think that, I put Jesse more as a potential winner than Cody is I think that Cody is more shiny object, big muscly guy winning challenges. I think they're going to go for some of these shiny objects, regardless of alliance. And I think that having people on the bottom like Owen and Noelle, they're going to want to use Owen and Noelle or work with whatever, perception is reality, to take out some of these shiny objects. So I think it's going to be a little bit sporadic. I think now that James, the sort of head of this big alliance, has been taken out, that wasn't someone that was one of the free agents on the bottom. I think we're gonna see some people wanting to swing big. Cassidy's gonna want to swing
Gotta
big.
make big
Sammy,
moves.
big moves. Cassidy's gonna want to swing. Sammy's gonna want to swing. I've really stuck with this swing. I meant like hit the targets, like baseball.
We got it. We understand.
Yeah.
You know what you mean.
But yeah, that's my
yeah. We don't, it's going to change. It's almost impossible to predict. Like, I feel like that, maybe, 5-10 years ago, you could sort of like project out from here, like how things are going to go. There's just like, there's so little that we actually know about what's going on. It's very hard to prognosticate this far down the road.
And yet we're going to do a 2-hour podcast trying to prognosticate.
At least. What, you think we're going to be done in 40 minutes? Are you wrapping up?
No, I'm not wrapping up. I love chatting with you. It's why I watch Survivor, Rob. Big reveal. I'm pretty sure at this point I watched Survivor to get to podcast with you.
Yeah. That's the most noble reason to watch.
I just love, I go on and on every podcast. I just love RHAP. I like the people. I like chatting with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really fun. It keeps my brain alive.
That's what we're here for.
That's the only thing that's keeping it alive. I like that everyone they know what my podcast is at this point, 10 seasons in. So they either turn it off or they tune in and have fun with us. So I genuinely love the RHAP community. And so does my mom. So does my dad. My brother, maybe not,
he's out
based on what's happening.
This was his last podcast.
He's like, I'm done. But I went on a sidetrack of love, and I don't remember what we were originally talking about.
Hannah, I have a voice
crying.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Hannah, I have another voicemail for you. This one is from Ben. Hold on, let me refresh this page, and then we'll hear what Ben has to say. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, so this will be the most important question of the podcast.
Oh.
Hannah, now that you're here, let's ask Rob. Rob, have you changed your opinion on Stu?
Okay.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Last fall, we talked extensively about the stew.
Yes, we did so much. We stewed in it.
The carrots, the onions, the hearty potatoes, and the warm broth. Sure. And now, okay.
Heated discussion. Okay.
Yes. By the way, we have an update from Mala in the chat who wants you to know. All right, Hannah, so it wasn't a snake. Justin Bieber got a monkey as a gift and decided to travel with it. It was seized at the airport in Germany, and he didn't come back for it and abandoned it. So
people
a little bit of the telephone game there on Justin Bieber, Hannah.
That's fair. Also, people said no Justin Bieber slander. It wasn't specifically slander. It was just saying that it's risky to give a young boy a lot of money.
What about
the Joffrey of Game of Thrones?
Yes.
If Joffrey had, aged into his power, maybe he wouldn't have died at his own wedding or whatever happened.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Okay.
Stu.
Yes. So no, I have not really come around to it. Other than I feel like I've been peer pressure to people like no, Rob, you haven't had my stew.
Have you had though like seasonal stews?
No.
There's some pretty good like Trader Joe's like pumpkin. There's
pumpkin
some seasonal
stew. Really, you're gonna bring me back in with pumpkin stew?
Maybe not. Maybe it's like butternut. There's some squash.
Look, I'm not some basic boy that's gonna go with pumpkin spice stew. No way.
So people's love for stew did not sway you. You were not Stirred up
people
by
keep
mass opinion.
Yes. Only I was stirred up by people like mixing a big stew.
If I mix it up with the flavors, yeah.
People keep saying that they're gonna give me a stew that I will like. I said, fine. I just maybe my mom made it bad. I don't know. Doesn't seem that appetizing to me.
The peanut butter and jelly of this episode appealed to you more.
It did. Jeff constantly referred to it as do-it-yourself PB&J, like multiple times. Only referred to it as the
production will not put it on the bread.
It's a do-it-yourselfer PB&J. What? Why? Why is it referred to as do-it-yourself?
Because this is a new era season. They don't.
You have to earn the PB&J.
You have to earn it by putting it on the bread.
You don't get pre-made sandwiches in the new era. You have to make them yourself.
Yeah, this is carry the peanut butter, leave the jelly. I don't know.
Yeah, just like they give you fish, they give you the ingredients to make a PB&J. That's it.
Listen, I don't think I'll end up back, but maybe I will, and I'll come back and I'll be like, it was so much harder than 39 days. But I don't know. I don't feel that way right now.
Yeah. Would you sit out for the rice when they ask you to? Okay, who wants to sit out of the rice challenge?
Depends how comfy I am. All the people that sat out were the people who were like pretty secure. But I don't usually sit out for food. I didn't sit out for food my season, but I know it's like group sitting out. Probably not.
How did they tempt you with the food in your season?
They offered food if you sat out. And
what was the food?
Oh God, what was it? I don't remember what the food was. I remember Zeke sat out because he couldn't balance. Will Wall sat out. He said to like show trust. God, I don't remember, but I didn't last.
It wasn't
long.
the pizza, was it? The mountain of pizza?
No, probably not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, lots of good peanut butter and jelly jokes happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was good peanut butter and jelly jokes because I think this was Carla who said they got back to camp and was saying,
peanut butter jelly time.
Yeah, it's peanut butter jelly time. You know that song?
Peanut butter
and way out. Peanut butter jelly and a baseball bat.
Who sings it? The internet or someone specific?
I think the internet sings it. I don't think that it's peanut butter jelly time. It's peanut butter jelly time.
By season 50, are there going to be like TikTok dances when they win stuff?
Yes, because Sammy already he won a challenge and he was doing the gritty.
I'm too old for this show now.
So am I. My son told me about it. He's like, Dad, he just did the gritty.
Do people have kids just to stay hip?
Usually it's the antithesis of I think if you are hip, then you have kids and it makes you. But then I guess it comes back around. Like maybe then your kids get older and they tell you what's good, and they tell you what
your kids teaching you about the gritty.
Yeah.
Can you show me what the gritty is quickly? Okay.
You'd have to. I can't. You don't think you can sit and grit? Sit and grit.
I don't know. I feel 80.
Behold, sit and grit. Yeah.
Two old people talking about the gritty. Rob has a podcast.
Anybody want papaya? Hannah, I want to talk about the big fight that we saw this week. Okay. It was James versus Owen on the beach. Okay. Yeah. Was this an exciting Survivor moment for you? Didn't do it for you?
I mean, I liked Noelle's line at Tribal. Too much testosterone. I just think revenge out there is more exciting served up strategically, like Cassidy did it. It just seemed like things boiled over.
Yes,
was this exciting for you?
Yes.
Did you?
It was. I thought it was a good. It's so rare that we have moments like this in Survivor, especially the last couple of seasons. To have two people getting into it over a vote, that I thought that this was pretty exciting. I thought it made for a great moment, certainly with Noelle when she asks, "Anybody want the papaya?" When in the middle of the fight. Did you see an argument like this in Millennials versus Gen X?
Yes. What if that was my whole life? Listen, first of all, I can be convinced that this is more exciting. Yes, I feel like there were a few moments. I think early on, I know Michaela and Figgy had some heated moments.
Sure.
I also think I'm trying to think if there was any truly like bro fights though. People being left out of the vote, bro. I mean, God, I don't know if there was like yelling matches. Hannah, someone in the chat saying I had one.
Did
was
you
I
have
in
a fight? Did you get in a fight with somebody?
Did I get in a fight? What you mean? As the person in the chat referring to the fact that I like wouldn't leave people alone after the vote? Not yelling. Who?
Okay.
If the chat wants to remind me, someone is saying I had a fight with Adam. I don't remember this fight. Maybe because it's 6 years ago. Maybe because I just blacked it out. So if you want to be more specific in the chat, you're welcome to jog my memory. I think for the most part, in terms of like votes, I do think that, keeping your cool if you can and getting revenge in more votey ways is the way to do it. But you're right. Maybe this was a moment of authenticity and frustration that should be considered more entertaining. I do think that the side commentary, Noelle's papaya, I always think those are the funniest parts.
So I thought it was really fun. I've been like hoping for more conflict in this season. Like I feel like that Gabler and Ellie was probably one of the high points in this season, even though it wasn't like that a long lasting story. Ultimately, I do think that really was probably the highlight of the pre-merge, Gabler versus Ellie. Did you have thoughts on Gabler versus Ellie?
Did I have thoughts on Gabler versus? Do I have thoughts on Gabler versus Ellie? I mean, you know what? I do think that like we see less moments of interpersonal relationships causing people to go home, and that is what Survivor was in the very beginning. It was like who gets along. There's an authenticity to it. I remember that I think it was Ellie where Jesse was like, Ellie's from near where I live, but I don't think we're from the same. It feels like we're from two different worlds. And I thought,
yes,
I believe. I could be wrong. But I thought that dynamic was more interesting, just like the small interpersonal things. And I guess, and also, I guess the thing that was interesting about the Gabler Ellie thing is at least how it was told was Gabler being like, she's underestimating me and it's frustrating. And here's how she views me. And here's how I actually am. And the complexity of that, I do think is interesting. The actual bickering, I guess I don't care one way or another, but like the reasons behind the bickering are more interesting. And there's tension there. As in terms of storytelling, her going through the bag, him finding out, her lying to him about it. There's a tension there that I can appreciate.
Yeah. Would you go through a Survivor player's bag, Hannah?
Probably.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I guess, but I kind of feel like that people wouldn't even hide a thing in the bag. I guess Gabler did.
Yeah, I mean, Gabler showed it to everyone too. It was sort of a lame bag look. It was like, let's look at this thing he already openly showed us.
Yeah, but also the plan was let's also convince him that the thing that he has the instructions to, let's tell him it says something else. And
what I will say, and it's just storytelling, it's a condescending strategy. Gabler was like, this person doesn't think highly of me. And then the person was like, let's trick him in the thing that he can just reread.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, yeah. the chat is liking that Owen and James felt very like gameplay passionate. And I guess I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I think there's a lot of levels to it. I think that when to include people in plans and why is an important part of both, jury management, ally management, but also how people perceive certain things. If you include someone, they could then get credit for that as well. Mm-hmm. So, I guess it did add attention to the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're right.
We convinced you. You came around.
I came around. I reluctantly came around.
All right. Hannah, what did you think about when Cody had a real problem with salespeople?
Well, Cody didn't have a problem with salespeople. He lied about it being a salesperson himself in order to get the salesperson voted out, Justine.
Well, I think he really does have a problem with salespeople.
No, he's a salesperson. He doesn't have a problem with salespeople.
Oh, I think that it's just that, look, we are humans and we are interesting creatures. I think he is a salesperson and he also has a problem with salespeople.
I think it was strategic. Things. I think he was like, I'm a salesperson.
You think this was part of his winner edit?
No, I don't. He said in a confessional, the chat can back me up or not, but he said in his confessional, he said, I'm actually secretly a salesperson, but I know the like stereotypes about salespeople. So I'm going to put this on her to create a target on her. I got the sense that he saw it as his own trickery and not his feeling, but maybe I could be wrong. Just like I was convinced that arguments are fun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I guess we'll have to go back and take a look at it. I'm not going to die on this hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tori in the chat agrees with you. You think that was, yeah. All right. So
it's like if I was like, oh, Dave is a writer, so we got to be careful because he can write up any story he wants out here. But I'm a writer as well. That's projecting what I know people perceive in both of us in order to paint a target on one while also knowing that I am that thing myself. So I think that was strategy.
Okay. All right, people agree with you, Hannah.
Oh, thank goodness.
It
makes it easier to be confident. When people agree with
I'm
you.
not too proud to say when if I got it wrong.
It was strategy.
Okay.
I don't know, winner strategy. I'm not sure, but I didn't mind it.
Okay. Let's go back and take another question. Nick Fishman wants to know if you could body swap into any player, who would you pick? Have you ever thought about this?
Not specifically with Survivor players,
but other people you would body swap into.
How long am I stuck in this person's body?
24 hours.
Oh, fun. Okay. Well, I definitely choose a man because I want to walk around at night alone and just get to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, whose body would I swap into? God, I'm not ready to be 19 again. That sounds exhausting.
For a day.
I guess for a day. I'm looking at these people. Who would I body? I guess for a day I could handle it. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just body swap into Cody, jump off a rock, walk alone at night. Yeah, go pee all over the shelter.
I'm gonna pee everywhere.
I think my answer might be Cody. What would your answer be?
If I could body swap into
Do you
one
get
person.
Their thoughts too, their brains?
So I think it would be for the rest of the game. I think it would really be the question that you would have the best shot to win.
I misunderstood this question completely. I just thought it was, you mean at this point in the game, whose game do I want to jump into?
Yeah, I think that's what he's asking. I don't think he actually asked whose body would you want to live in?
Probably like Jesse or someone who might win.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was like, who do you want to like try out their body? I made it much weirder than the question intended. If it's whose body am I betting on to win the game, than maybe Jesse.
I
but
think
if
it's probably like more positioning than like body.
then I would probably go with Jesse. But if it's a weird, just try on their body like a strange person, I would go Cody.
Mhm.
How about you?
Yeah, I feel like that Carla or Jesse for me is the most I don't want to say obvious, but I feel like that they both have idols that other people don't know about. I think that would be like very fun to play like them. But I think there is also something to playing as Owen, where Owen is just the person who, and you get this kind of survivor player in some of these seasons where he's kind of like a Spencer in his time during Survivor Cagayan. He's like the nothing has gone right for him guy, where that almost at every turn that he's been on the wrong side of things. This was really the first week that he actually like had things go his way. That traditionally, like, okay, then he's probably going to be riding high only to be blindsided again at the next tribal council. So that to me is always like a really fun person to have in the season. And, he's really playing with house money at this point.
Survivor loves an underdog. They love telling the story of the underdog. I think the fun thing about being an underdog is the pressure is less a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you're Jesse or Carla or, some of these people, even Cassidy in control, you're building a stack of cards and you're hoping it doesn't fall. But if you're Owen, you're just punching the air and hoping a punch lands. So I do see the fun in that. I really misunderstood the question.
That's okay.
Initially. But
Look,
we're
having fun.
Jesse is the reformed bad boy. I think he'd be fun to live in his shoes for a minute. I think he's got a great story. I think the potential winners in my mind, although of course we don't know who, but I think they would all have interesting stories, and I do like that about this season. Despite sort of a bit of a hit or miss with episode to episode enjoyment.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Gabler, who is still there at the final 8.
Not Gabler, Gabler,
not Gabler, but maybe his friends call him Gabler.
His shouting out all the people he was thanking, I thought it was really beautiful tribute to all the people that he's met. It also reminded me of Ken used to be like, thank you, Mama Sue, like, and all these people that we had no idea who he's talking about.
Who's Mama Sue?
I still don't know. But what do you think of Gabler?
I think that he's been very fun. I have no idea what he wants to do in the game. Like, we see other people talk to him, but we don't really see a lot of like what is Gabler's plan? Like, we have no idea. Like, who is he closest with?
Who does
he's just like treated as somebody who other people like are going to be able to pick up as a pawn.
A loyal free agent is the way I believe a couple people described him as. I'm not, it was how I think someone described Gabler. I think who described Gabler as a loyal free agent? Someone
I don't know if
did.
you can be a loyal free agent.
Yeah, it was contradictory. I don't understand it, but I think someone said that Gabler was like a loyal free agent, and I thought, interesting.
I guess if you're a loyal free agent, maybe it's like, okay, he will stick with whoever talks to him, but he's such a wild card. You can't trust telling him the plan because he'll be with you, but he will also blow the plan.
Is that what loyal free agent means? Maybe.
I think so. And it's almost like that. And nobody wants to pick him because he will blow the plan. So he'll be loyal.
It's hard. I think that what was the yellow tribe called? Baka.
The
Baka people seem to be playing from more of a position of on the bottom, the Baka bottom. Maybe Sam slightly less. There's just, I feel like the power has been in sort of certain pairs on blue and red. I'm using colors. I'm
You're
sorry.
Fine. You're fine.
But okay, I'm fine. I'm not sorry. I think it's harder to play a clear strategic game from the bottom. Not impossible. We saw Erica do it and win, but definitely more difficult.
Yeah. Do you think that he has a shot at the win?
Gabler?
Gabler.
I think everyone has a shot. If I had, 5, what were the coins called in Winners at War?
Fire tokens?
If I had 5 fire tokens, I don't think I'd put them on Gabler, but I think he would be an interesting character to win. What do you think?
I feel like, okay, if we were going to do a draft of people to win, you want to do that right now? I feel like that he would probably be last to get picked. What do you think?
Would he be last? I mean, my mom has really shocked me with this Sammy thing. I don't think he would be last in my mind.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do the draft. Winner draft. You go. You get the first pick.
I get the first pick.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna choose my. This is so hard because I love my 3 people that I'm really rooting for. But I'm gonna go with my reformed bad boy Jesse.
Okay.
Things he's done well. He had the beautiful shot of him sitting on rocks. He's got a loyal person that's a little shinier than him to get out. He gets credit for a lot and got a good story. And I think he's smart without being the obvious person to get out next. So I'm going with Jesse first. You didn't ask for reasons, but you're getting them.
I don't know if we need the reasons.
No, we're going to go with the reasons. You're going to, okay, go for it.
I'm picking Carla. She's had a really great story the whole way through. Great position. People don't know she has an idol somehow. Everybody wants to work with her.
I know how people don't think so. It's because apparently on the day that she asked for beads, Cassidy and Lindsay also were asking for beads for just art projects, so it got hidden a little bit. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, well, I asked James about it, and he said he didn't even think about who had the Coco idol. Really? But that's what he said. Okay.
Great second pick in Carla. I'm jealous you have her. For my next pick, I'm gonna go with my girl Cass. Yeah, I know there are some more obvious people that maybe should get picked, but I think this subtle dark horse thing. For the one-liners alone, I think if Cassidy wins, she has to have a big next couple episodes where she gets credit for taking out big threats like Carla and Jesse. Like Cassidy has to be the one to like arrow them down in the sky. But maybe this is wishful thinking, but I'm putting Cassidy as my next pick.
Okay, so I'm going to pick somebody with my next pick that I think that you were going to think might be a little out there. I'm going to pick Sammy.
Go for it.
Number 4
you and my
pick.
Mom. Do it.
That this Sammy is smart. Okay.
This
and then
one is, yes.
Also, that I really feel like that he's played a very interesting game where he's going back and forth, and maybe he is the 19-year-old who can fulfill the prophecy of Will Wall to be able to flip back and forth. Nobody is looking at him. People are not worried that he's coming for them. He's played a really good social game. And he's very underestimated. So I also like the guy could win a challenge, and nobody's like talking about him as being a physical threat like that.
If he makes it to the end, does he admit he's 19, or does he wait?
I think after he does, after they count the votes.
Oh boy, oh man, it's my turn, isn't it?
Owen, Noelle, Gabler, and Cody.
Yes. Oh gosh, it's so hard.
This is better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I'm really, really torn between 2. I guess I should think aloud since I am on a podcast.
Yes.
As much as I love Gabler and Owen, I'm really torn between Noelle and Cody for this next spot. I think Cody's had a really fun narration. I think he's clearly in a power position. I'm thrown a little bit by his portrayal as more Jesse's the bestie. And I'm wondering if in order for him to break out of that, he needs to like betray Jesse or something. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Noelle. I'm going to fill my team with some more women, unlike this season. I think Noelle, she's playing from the bottom. That's tricky. But I think similar to Cassidy, if she can continue to get credit for sort of taking out big guns and become more of a strategic voice, then she would have, she has a good chance there. And I think I'm also, she's just such a badass. Like Pure badassery. The chat has stopped for me. I don't know if it has for you too.
How do you know it stopped? Maybe people aren't saying
Maybe
anything.
just don't want to. People don't want to say anything anymore. People are like not into this draft. I think she's a badass. She reminds me. I know she's from New Hampshire. I think her bio said, but she reminds me of sort of the Boston girls I grew up with. And I'll put Noelle in my next slot.
All right,
you're going with Gabler, I assume.
No, at 6, I'm going to go Cody.
Okay, yeah, that's
I mean,
smart.
Cody's a really good pick that's still on the board. That I
Really
believe
good
if he
pick.
does not have his idol at this point, I think he's going to get it back from Jesse. He can win a challenge, and I think that he's definitely had, a bigger edit, one of the bigger edits of the season. And while you certainly make a lot of points about that he has been more shown as a person who is like not the leader in the alliance between him and Jesse, if something happens to Jesse, maybe Cody can emerge. I love Cody at the 6th pick.
I think Cody is excellent. I'm almost jealous of you for swooping him up when I could have.
Okay, so it's your pick. It's
yes.
Owen or Gabler.
Yeah, for this one, I'm going to go pretty confidently with Gabler.
Okay, that's an upset to me.
Oh, okay. I just keep upsetting you.
I am not upset, but I'll be very happy to take Owen.
Listen, I think Owen is wonderful and seems like a very rootable character. I struggle to see if Owen is a threat. If he's a threat, I feel like he can be taken out because his allies seem to be less based on the storytelling. And if he's not, I see him getting pulled in, which is a harder way to win. Gabler would be a really surprising win for me, just based on the stories being told. But you know what? I think that Gabler has been underestimated, but he is a loyal free agent.
This next minute's for Hannah. She believed in me when nobody else would.
It would be a surprising win. I'm once again wondering why I'm choosing in the order I am, but I'm going for Gabler on my team. I think he'd have a full story of being underestimated, of being the older guy, and apparently Gabler's on my squad now.
Yep. Okay. And I'll take Owen. That I get him number 8, but can't complain too much. I think it speaks to the quality of this final 8 for sure. And Owen, he would have a great story. You could certainly make the case that he's been maybe the most visible narrator of the season, talking about all the confessionals that he's had. It would be a tough road for him to get to the end. But maybe at this point, you're at the final 8, and maybe now for the first time in the post-merge game that there are enough other targets out there that people are a little bit distracted from Owen. There are other people that have idols and, other people that have bigger alliances than Owen has. So maybe people take their eye off of Owen for a little bit and go after some of the other players.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really fair draft. I mean, I think my biggest thing thinking back on the draft my biggest regret from the draft that we just did, now we'll analyze the draft for the next 30 minutes. I do think you grabbing Cody was a good grab. Me allowing, but overall, I feel like we both have a good shot here.
Yeah, I think it's at least 50-50.
I think it's pretty even. Because I think in the top spot, I'm with you. The Jesse Carla duo is appealing. If I am missing the chat now, I don't see any new chat messages, but maybe the chat just is mad.
No, they're not mad.
It's also 2.5 hours in, so I understand.
Okay. We're not quite that far out. Okay. All right. How about a question from Nick, who wants to know from you, Hannah,
yes,
that you played on a season. Okay, this is serious now. Okay.
Oh God. Okay.
You played on a season where the majority of the early votes were women. Did you find there being a majority male jury to be a detriment to your final tribal council?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we were talking before we recorded on the percentages on new player seasons of women winning against men, which I think we calculated to 24%. I think that perception is reality out there, and there's so much that goes into perception about a person's identity, gender being one of them. And I think before I went out there, it was something in my head. But when you go out there, you click with who you click with. You have to make the moves in the moment in the way you have to make them. So maybe I feel like it's easy to focus on other things until almost that element is too late. It is not, and I never have said it is a reason why I lost. I would never say that. So, don't come for me on Twitter because it might not be here tomorrow. But
I mean, then they should come on Twitter because
that's why. Yeah. If Twitter shuts down, that's when you come for me on Twitter.
Oh, I would love it so much if somebody wrote a mean tweet and then Twitter shut down, and then I'd be like, haha, idiot. You just
it was your fault.
Yeah.
I think that I think that the reason this sort of all women's alliance is always such a fear, it seems, among the men, is because it is a more of a challenge for females to get credit and be seen as the protagonist and not the sidekick. We've talked a lot endlessly on these podcasts about, perception, even how literature and TV perceive women versus men and how that plays out. I do think the more conversations about gender we've had, hopefully more and more fans of the show go in thinking about racial stereotypes, gender perception, sexuality, all these things. And so I'm hoping we get more and more evolved juries. And I think at least in 41 and 42, we saw people who were, questioning that. Hai wore a shirt, I believe, that said said feminist.
Yeah.
And that's not, and for the person who's going to come at me right before Twitter shuts down, that's not saying it's women shouldn't automatically win, neither should men, but we got to question these perceptions. And obviously my season mirrors this in some of the gender vote outs. And while I wasn't a big part of the pre-merge ones, I tried to vote out a man. I definitely, I always wish that I had thought more about that in terms of the end game and perception. And I think women supporting women only helps if you're a woman going out to play Survivor. And I understand so many things come into play, but it's not fun to watch that element of this season. And it's been I think the viewers, at least the ones that probably listening to RHAP, have struggled with that element as well.
Yeah, it certainly is, a hard thing to weigh in your equations. You want everybody to get to the point where everybody can do what's in their own best interest in the game. And as we saw with the Cookout and Big Brother, but the problem is, when you have a game with a history of, unfairness towards a certain group of people, sometimes people have to take a stand and, work together to prevent certain outcomes from happening. And you hope, and we've seen this in the last couple of Survivor seasons where women have won the season sitting in the final tribal council with men at the end of the game. In fact, both the seasons, 41 and 42.
I think because people are questioning their knee-jerk perceptions.
Yeah, one woman sat with two men, and both times the woman was the winner.
I'm to lighten it up a little, I did get a text from my mom.
What'd she say?
She can't seem to add it to the chat, which feels like my theory that the chat has been frozen somehow.
I've been reading the chat the whole way through, so we're
past
good.
509. Oh, I do want to read what my mom texted me, but the last one I see is from 509. My mom texted me, our Sammy is smarter.
Oh, okay.
Meaning she fully, to answer the question, to answer the question, my mom fully believes in my brother's intelligence. Like I said, my brother's a very smart guy. That's no diss to the Survivor Sammy as well.
I think, how about this? All Sammys are smart.
You're really going to all Sammys?
I mean, I don't know any dumb Sammys. All the Sammys I've met have been smart.
I'm not going to give that to every Sammy in the world, but I believe you.
Do you know a dumb Sammy?
I mean, not personally. I don't know how many Sammys I know, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm willing to make that take. I'm putting it out there. Okay.
Okay. You heard
All
it
right.
here first.
Mm-hmm. Hannah, this is a question from Mike Brett. Is it harder to find an immunity idol or to get Taylor Swift tickets?
Taylor Swift tickets.
Mm-hmm. What's going on with the Taylor Swift tickets?
This is really emotional for me.
Mm-hmm.
I did not currently have Taylor Swift tickets.
Were you trying to get them?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a Survivor fan listening to this podcast and you have an extra Taylor Swift ticket, I will give you a casting person's phone number.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I will go to the concert with you.
I will go to the concert with you. Oh,
Yes.
I don't need to offer people's phone numbers. I will go to the concert with you. I will tell you anything you want to know about Survivor.
Okay.
Every behind the scenes secret in trade for these Taylor Swift tickets.
So you would go to the Taylor Swift concert with any stranger and spend the day with them.
Yep. Answering any questions about
any
Survivor.
questions.
And in order for that ticket, I heartbroken that I went to the Reputation tour because Taylor Swift in the public sphere had dipped in some popularity, and I was able to get tickets, and I got nosebleed seats, and I walked up to like almost the floor, and she was right there in front of me, and it was incredible. And this time, freaking Ticketmaster had 2 pre-sales. And one of them was fan verified. The other was the Capital, to explain what happened, the credit card presale, a specific credit card. And my friend was trying to get it through the credit card presale. We didn't. And then the general sale got canceled because there was an oversell of tickets. And it's a mess. And I am still hoping, that I can get Taylor Swift tickets. It is way harder to get Taylor Swift tickets, I think, than find an immunity idol.
Yeah, there's
At
so
least
many idols
modern
and advantages.
Survivor,
Yeah.
in modern Survivor, it's harder not to get an idol than to get an idol, it seems like.
Yeah. So is it harder to get Taylor Swift tickets or harder to get the knowledge is power?
You mean to use it correctly or to just get it?
Yeah, maybe it should be, is it harder to use the knowledge is power correctly or to get Taylor Swift tickets? Because some people have gotten Taylor Swift tickets.
It's easier to get the knowledge is power advantage, but it's not easier to use it correctly.
Yes. Would you be able to use it correctly?
Probably not. Would you?
I think you just have to use it right away.
You have to immediately take a guess. Do you have to say the exact advantage that you want?
I think you just have to say, do you have an idol or do you have an advantage?
Okay. I mean, I think the key with knowledge is power is don't tell people you have it and then use it right away.
Right. That's it.
That's it. That's
It's a
unfortunately
hot potato.
Hot potato. Unfortunately, James, everybody knew he got something.
Yeah.
He should have made it up, right? Like steal a vote or something.
He should have made up what? Something that he could have taken from another person?
No, he should have made up that it was some sort of advantage that doesn't steal.
Oh, yeah. He should have said that he got.
Did
like,
you ask
something
James about it in the exit press?
I didn't ask him if he should. Well, I think he kind of did say. I said, "How did the knowledge is power affect your game?" And he said that like he wishes he would have got anything else except the knowledge is power.
Yeah, it is sort of one where it's like you're a threat to anyone with an advantage or an idol, and that's like half the cast.
Yeah.
Since I can't see them, does the chat agree with me about Taylor Swift, and does any of them have tickets?
Let me see if anybody. I'm seeing definitely some talk about Ticketmaster.
Yeah, Ticketmaster.
Yes. So, and then some people are talking about people don't play the idols correctly. You could use Tommy Guam says you could use the knowledge is power on Taylor Swift ticket holders.
That's the winning comment. Yes.
Yeah. The only Taylor I care about is Taylor Lee Stalker.
Queen. Listen, I didn't watch Big Brother, but I did read the tweets, and I was rooting for her through Twitter.
Wait, wasn't that the guy that played on your Big Brother season?
Oh, I thought that was who am I? I thought it was the Big Brother girl.
Well,
What's her last name?
There is a Taylor that was on Big Brother. Taylor Hale.
Oh, I confused. Yeah, you're right. Taylor was on my season.
Yeah, I mean, this is his favorite month.
Why is this his favorite month?
Yeah, I think he's posted about November.
Y'all are much more in the know about my former
about
Taylor.
people you played with. Yeah.
Well, at least about Taylor specifically. Yes, I will.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Taylor Swift with a Survivor player, please take me.
Well, that would be exciting. Would you TikTok the whole day?
If they wanted me to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, you can. We can have a blast in your local city.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you would fly into the city that the Taylor Swift concert was happening.
You know what? For the sake of this podcast, let's open it up and say yes. LA preferred, but if you have Taylor Swift
Depends how
tickets,
good the seats are, right? If they're nosebleed seats, you're probably not going to fly in.
you never know. I really
Wait, are
wanna
you
see
the
it.
biggest Swiftie there is?
Listen, I may or may not in middle school have laid on a bed listening to Cold as You crying. So the Taylor Swift fans who get it will get it. So
They get
just
it.
listen, if you have Taylor Swift tickets and want to hang out with a Survivor player and have an extra ticket, I'm there in a city near you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll say.
But why are they so hard to get? Taylor Swift has gone on tour before, right?
So she hasn't toured since, this is really taking a turn. She hasn't toured since 2018. And since the pandemic, she has released so Lover was pre-pandemic, but she didn't get to tour that album. Then Folklore and Evermore and the Red re-record, and now Midnights. So 4 new albums plus re-recorded new songs. So she essentially hasn't toured a bunch of new music. And there was a bunch of people pre-pandemic, I think, who wish they had seen Taylor Swift but didn't. There's a lot of different reasons, but also the Ticketmaster debacle was a lot of bots bought the tickets. I really can't see the chat, but I hope the chat is saying that I'm right again. But a lot of bots bought tickets and are now like reselling them. So it wasn't just fans that got tickets. They gave out the verified presale code.
Okay. And so it's really the Taylor Swift fans versus the bots.
Yes. Also, Ticketmaster is now claiming that they could have filled 900 extra stadiums with the amount of demand that there was.
900 extra stadiums. Okay.
That's what Ticketmaster is now being investigated by Congress. I'm not even joking about monopoly stuff. You don't want to come for Taylor Swift fans, cancel the sale. And then Taylor Swift did finally release a statement today. This podcast is really taking a turn.
Yes. What was her statement?
She said that she feels bad for the fans that got tickets that felt like they had to go through a bear attack to get the tickets. And
Bear attack?
There was a lot of like 6 or 7 hours in line, people frantically clicking, like sort of knee-jerk spending thousands of dollars on tickets. My friend got tickets, floor seats in the 18th row. She spent $900 a ticket. These aren't even resale prices. So I feel, obviously lucky that I pre-pandemic went, but this podcast, you've really hit another subject that I can talk about.
Well, no, this is very interesting. You're letting me know. I didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah, if you want the next RHAP event to be big, really hype it up in the same way.
Yeah, so some people were like, hey, you should use Ticketmaster for your next live events. And no, I don't think I'm going to. I think that we'll just keep doing it the same way, that we'll let the patrons know what city we're going to go to and let them buy the tickets. And Ticketmaster can GTFO. I'm not going to use them.
Do you think you could fill 900 stadiums with RHAP fans?
I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, say it
And
with
I mean, very,
confidence.
very small stadiums, right? Yeah.
Mini stadiums.
Little mini stadiums. Yeah, I think so. Easily. Like each stadium has one seat. I think we could do that.
We can move on to another voicemail. I could talk about Taylor Swift for the next 3 hours, but we don't have to do that.
I know you said that you only wrote down a couple of things in your notes. What were the other things you wrote down?
I wrote 10th season !
Yes.
I wrote my Hydra Greek mythology thing, and then harder and harder to get both things. So these were not the thorough notes I usually bring, because I feel like 10th time I should have mind notes.
Okay. All right. Tyler wants to know, Hannah, do you like Midnights, and do you think Taylor has ever watched Survivor?
Taylor has never mentioned Survivor that I can account for. I do like Midnights. Let's some of my.
What if you found out Taylor Swift was a big Survivor fan like Jack Harlow?
I mean, that might melt my brain. I really like Midnights. My favorites on Midnights at the moment: Midnight Rain, Maroon, and Mastermind, probably. Although I do like Question, but I sort of oh my goodness. Alex Forsenhauser just texted me, don't read text while you're podcasting. They come up on my phone and I get important information out. I'm sorry if it's a listening experience, if that's taken away from it at any point. But yes, I think anyone who was bullied in middle school loves Taylor Swift, and
that's why she's so popular.
Everyone was bullied in middle school, so any middle school, I hope I answered that.
Yes. Okay. Any other things that you've observed from this Survivor season? You watched it all so quick.
I did watch it in sort of one serving.
One fell swoop.
I still really like the flashbacks, like the montages of their lives.
Yeah. What would your flashback have been? You were getting bullied in middle school.
I mean, I have some pretty goofy pictures of me with a friend watching Survivor in middle school, where we would eat Oreos mashed up with gummy worms when they were hungry, and then we had sushi when they were happy.
Wait, so you were doing the gnarly food competition? Is that?
It wasn't actually, it was like sour gummy worms and Oreos, but I have some pictures from Max Dawson's Survivor class.
Oh, yeah.
Of, I think they're Danganronpa. We had like a merge tribe. I feel like maybe they would flash back to some of that. Cassidy got like a baby picture this episode, since she was wearing sort of an immunity necklace.
Yeah, because she was had a picture with her sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was a different picture, but yeah, that.
Oh shit. Yeah, because I think she said I've been watching Survivor since I was. It's a lifelong dream to be on Survivor.
Yeah, she had first one of her, and then one of her and her sister. It is tough because, I think. What would your flashback picture be?
Oh yeah, it would be. I really struggled all through my life. I couldn't get any dates in high school, and I really wanted them, and no people would want to talk to me. So I just had to go home and watch TV, and I watched all these TV shows, and then eventually I found a show called Survivor, and then those were the people that were my friends that were on the TV show Survivor. And now I'm here living out my lifelong dream of being on Survivor.
Aww. And then it would cut to me and I'd be like, I didn't have a lot of friends. Like I was being bullied. It would be the same narrative. And the producer would be like, oh, so Survivor? I'd be like, no, Taylor Swift. And it would cut to me outside the Stadium of the Eras tour, trying to get in and not getting in. It would be real off.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is something goofy about the montages, but I do like it. Listen, I like that a lot of the cast still seems to be like fans of the show versus recruits. I'm into that. I think if any of the 8, listen, we spent a while doing our draft, but I think any of the 8 have a story to tell and have told. I feel like we have a very full picture, like you said, ups and downs and flashes. I don't know. What are you hoping for at the end of the season? What is your hope for the next couple episodes?
Yeah, I just think that this season, I'm hoping for a lot of excitement in the back half, because I do feel like that while I do love the characters that are on the show, I felt like that overall, like I feel like we did not see a lot of like big moves in the, first half and change of the season. But now, as we have gone through it, we have 8, viable candidates to win. And I think that also one of the things that I think has been bad in the last 2 seasons has been the do or die at 7. So we have the final 8, which has a shot to be, a really exciting vote. And then we're going to have a real final 7 tribal council and a real final 6 tribal council. So I think that we should have 3 normal votes in a row before we get to the finale, which should be another normal vote, where I think that that's going to be, some an opportunity for some real Survivor to get played here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. I think what you're saying too is you hope for less like crazy, like structured structure, so that the craziness can come from the players themselves.
Right. People can just play Survivor, and I think that should be good. I think the final 8 has been. I think the Shan was the final 8 vote, which I think was like the biggest vote in season 41.
For sure.
And then at the final 8 was that High got voted out, I think, at the final 8 last season. So
big threats, usually.
Big threats. This is the spot where people start to make their big moves now. We've gone from 10 to 8, and now I think that people are going to like start, making those big swings.
Yeah.
And now final 7, which was taken away from us the last 2 seasons, traditionally a spot where people make big moves at the final 7. Then that's going to be a normal final 7 this season. And then, we'll go from there.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. I don't know if Cody was lying to Cassidy, but Cody told Cassidy this episode that he wants to keep people around who he likes, which I thought was either an interesting lie or it was an interesting insight to how Cody's playing. And I think that starts to break down. I think final 8, you look around and you go, who do I think I can't beat? I think even if you go out there looking for adventure, you look around and think, I'm pretty close to a lot of money. And a lot of money gets you one important thing, Taylor Swift tickets, floor seats.
Without having to survive a bear attack.
No, without having to beg on your local podcast.
Is this a local podcast?
I don't know. No, it's international. It's not local. We read the locations in the beginning.
That's true. I forgot about that. Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Hannah? Taylor Swift, Survivor. Are you watching anything else fun?
Am I watching anything else fun? Am I? I watched a little bit of the Orville.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that was fun. I haven't watched a lot of OG Star Trek, but I thought it was it like pitched as a funny show, but has a lot of heart.
Yes. I thought it was more of a parody when I first watched it.
But they go for it.
Yeah.
They not every episode is happy. Is there any show you recommend that I should pick up?
I don't know if there's anything. The only current show that's on that I'm watching is The White Lotus. That's really the one that Nicole and I are keeping up with.
Please, I would love to see you on it as well.
Yes. Okay.
I
Well,
think Aubrey Plaza.
Mike White
everyone
knows how to get a
Twitter's
hold of me. Yeah.
Yes, to Mike White listening, we're both available.
Mhm.
Please contact us. I'm curious how the traditional listeners feel about my sporadic listening chat. I can no longer see you, but I want to say that you were a joy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I'm excited to hear people's thoughts on the season. And yeah, I hope
How do you want to hear their thoughts?
either nicely or on Twitter right before it dies, like the
Right before it
second
dies.
before
Do you really
dies.
think Twitter is going to die? I don't think so.
What do you think is going to happen here? All of the Twitter employees apparently have quit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's empty offices. It's just
Mhm.
Elon Musk shouting he's on the edge of extinction.
How many do they need to keep it on?
I don't know. I don't know what all these different people were doing on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To me, I just enter my words onto my little brick.
You just type in your words, right? Maybe they don't need that many
And
people.
what does it? No, I think they probably need people.
Mm-hmm.
Is Twitter? I mean, I know. I like saying things into the void. Yeah, I hope it's a fun ending on this season.
Oh, I think
hope
meant for
we
Twitter.
have-
Like, do you think it would be a good series finale?
It's kind of depressing. It's
Do you
like
think that
it's
they'll-
like it's
that
like
they-
ending Buffy on season 6 or something.
Yeah. Do you think that they will like neatly wrap it up, or it'll just like get canceled?
I mean, at this rate, it just feels like all the software engineers are quitting. I mean, who
Mhm.
comes in? I feel like either there are lots of
Maybe they'll
bad
get it
potential
rebooted.
endings.
Yeah.
What does it get? Yeah, who are the spin-off characters?
I don't know.
um,
Would you watch the reboot of Twitter, or would you like want to see it like go away for a while?
it depends on the cast.
Mhm.
Depends on who's writing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, or will it be like Grey's Anatomy? All the OGs have left, and it's in its 19th season now, but without Ellen Pompeo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's TV references left and right.
Left and right. All right.
We've chatted.
We've
talked into
we
mics.
did. We talked about that. We talked about the thing. This was so much fun. The time flew by.
It was great.
Yes. And so Twitter may or may not be here anymore by the time people are listening to the podcast. Do you want people to follow you anywhere else? I know you make TikToks.
I occasionally make TikToks at Hannah Lilnesson. I'm on Instagram.
Will you make more
and Twitter.
TikToks now?
I guess. Yeah. I'll increase my TikToks and my Instagrams, and I'll keep tweeting as well. If you enjoyed this, I can be reached at any of those platforms.
Mhm.
And if you didn't like this, then send me something on
Mhm.
MySpace.
On
See,
MySpace.
I think this generation hasn't experienced the Gen Z, which doesn't include Will Wall.
Yeah.
Hasn't, because like millennials experienced the rise and death of MySpace. So this is
Sure.
really people's first.
Well, did MySpace
experience.
ever die, or did it just like people just left?
Does my profile still exist? It's like how I think, do my Neopets still exist, and are they okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm worried about. Are you saying my MySpace is like frozen in time somewhere on the internet?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like that MySpace was more like a ghost town that like all the people left, but it was still there. Twitter is different. Like if Twitter stops, like it's going to be like that. It just like imploded. And you go to the website and there's going to be nothing there.
I'm having some existential crises.
Yeah.
Like
It's weird.
it's weird. Like if Twitter can go into the void, like, do you think there's an afterlife?
For
And-
Twitter?
No, just in life.
Oh.
Does any of this mean anything?
No,
Let us know
I
in
don't
the
think it
comments
did. I
below.
don't think it did. Yeah, I guess we'll have to find new ways for people to let us know also. Okay. Then Byron wants to know, can we talk about people not using their shot in the dark?
Okay, I did have a shot in the dark question. Thanks,
Yes.
Byron. They said that if the vote gets stolen, the shot in the dark gets lost as well. Is that a thing?
If you don't have a vote, you can't do this shot in the dark.
Oh, because you can't give up anything.
Right. You have to give up your vote to use the shot in the dark.
I feel like the recent ones have been blind sides and small tribes. Like when it's a tribe of 6, you really don't want to shoot your shot. Do you think we're going to see a big shot in the dark win?
No, it will never happen, ever.
Wow, you heard it here first.
I will die on this hill. No shot in the dark will ever happen successfully in Survivor. Put it in pen.
I think that there are.
What will I do? I should do something. I should have I should do something to what should I do, Hannah? If somebody plays a shot in the dark successfully, what should I do?
You have to take a shot of alcohol in a dark room.
Okay. If
a literal shot in the dark.
And I will proceed to vomit. If somebody
successfully uses their shot in the dark.
Successfully does a shot in the dark, I will take a shot in the dark
of alcohol.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like this feels like an accurate punishment.
Yes. It would be a punishment for me. Some people, it would be a treat. It would be a punishment for me.
No, not me. I don't like shots.
Yeah. Not a big drinker.
Not a big shotter. I think it's hard unless you know you're going home.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone's like kind of like a David Wright, like it's, and even then, like it's time. I think it's a hard thing. The smaller the numbers. All right. Well, you heard it here first, Byron.
Yeah. What should I do it like on the know-it-alls? Should I get the shot ready with Steven?
Yes, you turn off the lights and you shoot in the dark.
Yeah, Steven would be. I think he'd be like, "Hey, this is too crazy of a podcast."
I think he'd be into it. Oh, okay. I don't know Steven Fishback as well.
I don't think he likes that kind of like crazy stunts.
You only get that on a Rob and Hannah pod.
Yes, that's right. Okay. All right. Well, Hannah, I miss you being here in the studio to, spill the coffee all over the place and just have a great time here in person.
I do too, but you know what? This is lovely. I'm looking forward to the next time I get to see you. I hope you and everyone listening have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And you, are you doing anything?
Yes, all my family is coming to Los Angeles because my aunt is hosting up in the Valley. I almost gave her address.
Yes. Okay.
So everyone's coming in.
That's so nice.
Yes, it's nice. Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'm excited. I love my family. It sounds like suddenly. Yes, it'll be exciting. I feel like this is derailing. I don't know why. Yes, everyone's flying in. I'm going to be making a pecan pie.
Ooh.
I make a good pecan pie. So if you invite me to Taylor Swift, I will not only tell you about Survivor, I will come with pecan pie.
Wow. A slice or a whole pie?
You know what? If you've shared Taylor Swift with me, it'll be the whole damn pie.
Okay.
Because that's where we're at. This has been. I just want to say I have so much fun doing it. If you've listened this far, kudos. I have such a good time.
Thank you. Yeah. No, you held the live audience. There's 230 people watching us live.
Right now, we have 230 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is great. I truly, but Rob, I love podcasting with you too.
Oh.
I've shouted out the community, but I was telling a friend, I was like,
will you come back for season 44?
Okay. The 11th season. I wasn't sure if we were going to end with 10, the big 10.
Mm-hmm. Is this the series finale like Twitter?
God, it's fun to podcast. You're like, it's like a trampoline. It's just back and forth. That's not how trampolines work.
But I get it. I understand. So
it's fun. It feels like because I've now hosted podcasts too, and it's like it's nice. You're just such a pro. I feel like it's easy and fun.
Well, thank you, Hannah. I really do appreciate that. I really hope that one of these days I can see you in person. I can come to one of your open mics.
Please, I've only done it once, you guys. So
and
I'll
do shots in the dark.
Yes, you'll take a shot in the dark. The last thing is like we both have a roster of our winner picks. What's the prize here?
Well, what do you want? We're making a bet.
I don't think it should be like a punishment. I think there should be a good thing.
All right. So what should I send you something?
A surprise.
What do you want?
Taylor
Swift ticket? Yeah.
You can't hold that up.
Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Whoever wins, the other person sends them a gift. But on the gift, it has to say on the package somewhere. Does the card have to say beware advantage? Like we have to open up.
Oh my God.
Although I guess that's bad. Okay, what is whoever wins, the other person sends them something surprising. And we tell RHAP what it is.
So, all right. That sounds like a good, a nice surprise for the person who won. Just to reset, you had Jesse. You had
I have Jesse,
Cassidy.
Noel. Jesse, Cassidy, Noel, and Gabler.
Okay, and I have
you have Carla, Cody,
Sammy, and
Sammy and Owen.
Yeah,
I think both of us have strong rosters.
We have strong teams. Okay, we'll see. It's a coin flip. All right. If you missed it yesterday, I had a great podcast with Desi Williams, recapping everything that's going on, double exit interview, and of course the know-it-alls, plus an amazing race recap, the Real Love Boat recap. Have you watched the Real Love Boat, Hannah?
I have not.
It's exciting and new.
Two things that I am not. It's been 3 hours, y'all. Sorry.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for our feedback show this week.
Thank you for having me.
I've got the Survivor Academy coming up this weekend with Stan C. We're going to talk about the lessons that future Survivor players can take away from the last 3 episodes. And then, Hannah, I'll be back together with your friend and mine, Akiva Winokur, for Rob and Akiva Need a Podcast, episode number 200. Rob and Akiva are not boring.
I can agree with that statement.
Yes. All right. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye. Everyone.